that's kind of what I was thinking of doing. I haven't done stuff like that in a while. Just like do one small patch. just weirdness. So I ordered a couple of things. I ordered another 4 stereo channels to the Tex Mix. That's pretty happy, dude. It's like $90 for each of these modules. It's so cheap. Yeah, I used that was really cool. I wanted to kind of dig into that a little bit more today. Like, just to kind of narrow down on one thing. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's I also bought I bought a dual Shackmat dual dagger stereo filter. So I got another stereo filter on the way. So that's pretty exciting. And that's going to go like right there. We'll just move those guys over because there's plenty of room. So yeah. So the thought was, okay, the concept, at least the thought was put the SIG on really slow, like really slow. I'll start with that. How about that? And then I want to get into more like rhythmic examples, just basically by using the SIG, I think, for most of this. It's just an interesting concept. And I was like, shit, man, I could do this. I could use 3 channels of the SIG and only use the chainsaw. Am I right? I'm right. Because the chainsaw is fucking boss. So let's do that. So the concept is you basically choose, and I think I'll do a 4th oscillator with like a good sub bass kind of thing, okay? So step 1, think about harmonies, right? What makes a harmony? How many chords do you really want to go to at any given point? You know what? I'm going to use the Zagreb. You know why? Because the knob on the Zagreb is the second most satisfying knob in my rack. All right, it's very nice. Now, can you guess what the most satisfying knob in the rack is? If you can even see it, you may not even be able to see it. It's yeah, it's just off the big camera. It's where this knob that you just barely can't make out. Oh shit. Yeah, that would be the one on the Mankato filter, which is a mono filter, but it's just so damn tasty, as you just heard. Anyways, I digress as normal. So the concept is, right, you basically take notes that are going to always be compatible. This is the trick, right? And maybe not. Like, who cares? Maybe you don't even really care. Maybe you throw some dissonance in there every once in a while, and you make people's nutsacks kind of curl up a little bit. That is also an option, right? Many options here. Can we kill that? Yeah. Right now, I should just be getting one. Oh, that's a little low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, let's start it there. Now there. There's my saw. Saw's out of tune. My God. It's just so good. I need to film a video, an official, like, released YouTube video, and all I'm going to do is just be like, here's a shitload of stereo filters, because I'm, like, collecting them, right? And just run, like, sawtooth sequences through each one. Here's the Ikari. carry has the added advantage of having a built-in VCA, also having it sweeps directly into high pass, which is pretty great. It's got an input gain, a lot, like instant acid. This filter is like the instant acid filter. It's great. All right, so no, I'm going to keep it on the Zagreb though, just because it's very neutral. So you find notes basically, as I was saying, you find notes that are like compatible with each other. Okay, so I'm going to just hang out in C minor. Let me kind of explain. At least this is one approach to the theory. There's a lot, right? You could do a bunch of different stuff with this. So let's say I'm in C minor. I think to myself, what other chords do I kind of like, do I want to touch on, right? I'm just physically resetting all of the sig knobs right now so that it doesn't mess me up. I find that if I start with all of the knobs turned down, generally speaking, things sort of turn out better. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to put channel A as my bass. Okay. Now I don't want the bass to always change, right? I want it to be mostly on a C. So I'm going to turn the C up all the way. All right. Now my other potential bass notes sort of depend on what kind of chords I want this to sort of sound. We could go to the 4 chord, right? We could do like an F minor. We could do a G minor. We could also do like an E flat major, and we could do an A flat major. And I really like those two blends. Those are really, really nice chords. So you kind of have to limit things in your bass, at least, you know, optionally, right? So I'm going to put E flat up a little bit, and then I'm going to put A flat up a little bit, and I'm going to put G about halfway, a little bit less than halfway. Okay, so that those other ones, they don't really sound all that often. And a nifty trick is what you can do is just let it run in 16th notes here, and so you can sort of see the probability of each note as it happens, right? So it's just hitting the red ones here are the E flat and the A flat. They're pipping every once in a while. I'm actually going to turn them down a little bit more. All right, so now the next step is just to change the rhythm. Right now, default is 16th note. So I'm going to turn it up to two whole notes in length, right? And then I'm going to slow my clock down substantially. Let's put it at like here, 66. That seems like a respectable tempo, okay? Now that's going to be my bass. Right, so now I got to think about, like, what am I going to use for, like, a bass oscillator thing? And it can be anything, right? Probably. Hang on. What? Hello? That was weird. That was weird. I heard somebody pounding. And it sounded like they were pounding on the door. And I'm like, what? Okay. But maybe it's upstairs. So, last weekend was the big festival here. Over the, like, 4th of July adjacent weekend. And there's just shit everywhere still. It's like they, just the fact that this is sort of the central hub of the whole festival means that it was destroyed in the process. So yeah, I'm going to use the CSL. All right. I'm going to set up the bass, I think, a little bit differently. Let's make this our green voice officially. So I'm going to run a sawtooth and a sub square to the Mankato, all right? And then that's going to go 24 dB out, and we'll throw that there. Deuteroni. Get out of there, subharmonicon. You think you are. We'll throw that Deuteroni into the mixer. Should be getting something. Yeah, I was going to say, bro is not in tune here at all. In fact, that sounds like a C sharp to me. Supposedly there are ghosts in the building. Absolutely. Yeah, that's been the rumor for many, many moons. Oh, God. Yeah, it's really, really sharp. Sorry about that. Testing, testing. Okay. Okay, no, that is a C. All right, that's good to go. And so then we can just tune to itself. Okay. And then I'm going to give it an envelope as well. So obviously, this is going to go to the volt per octave of the CSL. And then I'll hook up an envelope here also. A fairly slow envelope, right? So this whole thing is going to be sort of tuned into slow progress. And now I am out of appropriately lengthed cables for that. Son of a bitch. Dude, I think tonight I'm going to go and like make a shopping order for cables. I'd like to get some tendrils, some of those like these little thin ones. I love these. Oh, yeah. Y'all way too fast. We're going to put you on medium speed. Like, okay, do your thing. It's going to take... This is the only annoyance that I find doing these really slow things like this, is that setting them up and going through, waiting for it to play, to test it, is a pain in the ass. All right. Did you play? Thought you played something. Did you not play? Oh, well, I can test this by... Okay, there we go. We'll give it some sustain, too. How about that? Okay, so there's the envelope for the bass, all right? And then obviously we're going to need to turn this octave down at least to the one below there, if not two. All right. So I'm going to duplicate this into channel B and channel C. No, actually I'm going to reset that once I get there. So we'll get into channel D. I'm pretty happy with the notes and the probabilities and stuff like that. All right. So now what I want to do is start to think about like what other notes can work with this assortment. Number one, B flat. In fact, B flat is going to be a fairly high number on there. D can work pretty well. F can actually work pretty good. But we're going to put the G up a little bit higher than that. Okay. And then again with the rhythms, they are still at like 2 whole notes mostly. Hey, ear juice, what's happening, bro? What's happening? So I'm also going to turn this to more on the whole note end of things. The other one, the bass note, I had 2 whole notes. Okay, so part of the thing here is having. All right, now here's the easy part, or not, because I don't have long enough cables. But it is, you know, happening to, like, oh, I happen to have the the perfect thing for this, right? You could duplicate this with step sequencers. You could duplicate it with step sequencers, putting out random, even like random step, with just a really slow clock. You know, could be done. The problem is that's not probability based or whatever, which, you know, again, the SIG, that's what it's all about. So I've got 3 volt per octaves now hooked up to the chainsaw, which you can't see because first world camera problems. Yes. Terror. Yeah. There was a Reddit thread today, and it was like, which modules have the coolest lights? And I'm like, I really like the motion meter, dude. Like, for one thing, that's a really pleasant green. And green and purple are like my favorite colors. And it's almost purple, like, you know, pink. I got this nice happy little light strip going down here. And then some guy was like, hey, I make these modules that are basically just a blank panel of LEDs that react to CV. And I was like, I kind of want that. Yeah, it was just on today. I forget if it was on the Eurorack or the modular sub. Pardon me, excuse me. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is... Actually, let me think here. Do we need... We don't really need to send an envelope at all to the filter. I think what I really want to do is to give it some sloths only. Like, we'll see. Alright, now, I'm going to copy channel B to channel C. Alright, I'm going to put this guy on there, so we can potentially record a loop if we want. Alright, now I'm going to copy channel B into channel C and into channel D. Alright, and I'm going to make sure that each of these are running. There we go. They've already got harmonies going. Okay. Yeah, Instruo makes some beautiful modules. Well, okay, so consider each channel kind of like a melodizer, right? Okay, well, you know what the other thing we can adjust is? Octave. Okay, here's the thing. Is my bass even playing? Like... Oh shit, did you hear that? We just hit this like giant open fifth Superman chord or something. Now, of course, we can also sync all of this stuff to like the chords and stuff. We can put onto like one envelope for like a nice happy fade in or something, which is probably not a bad idea. So let's do that up. I'm gonna ignore color conventions today. So pulling the sloths, putting in an envelope. Say I was having problems with the SIG triggering the SIG was not triggering this IntelliGel dual ADSR. It just, I don't know. It's an old module, so maybe it's not quite as sensitive to trigger size or length or something. Understand. Yeah, it takes a little bit to tweak, right? Honestly, it almost feels like there's too much sub in the bass. It's like too low, if possible. There's a nice like F sus right there. Like an F add 6. But then it's just like not triggering. Turn them like. Still not quite perfectly in tune. 1 second. There we go. It's a little better. I like it a little detuned, but that was a little much. Okay. Now let's actually put sloths back in this, but let's I'm going to attenuate it quite a bit. Just to give it a little bit of coasting, you know, bit of dancing. Actually, if we wanted to really do this well, we should put this here. Yes. More of a bandpass. course, you also have this option. Auto music. Channels, right? And then I'm going to turn up the half note. Let's do half note. I'm going to turn that rhythm up. So now they're no longer like synchronized. sidechain would be an easy thing. Probably not a bad idea. Jesus God. Let's see, the kick is like I have no volume adjustment here. I can run it through a VCA, I guess. No? Yeah. Because that's nuts. That's like insanely loud. So VCA the bass, run through sidechain. um. So yeah, and then music comes out. It's pretty interesting. Now, there's multiple ways that you could pull this off, right? What do you need? You need some sort of note selecting device. Quantizer? We could do this with the Bard Quartet. We have done this with the Bard Quartet, like multiple times. Like the whole sawtooth thing here with the chainsaw. I've done that with the Bard Quartet quite a number of times. If you slowed down your clock, if you slowed down the source of your triggers and stuff like that, like, and in fact, going through the Bard Quartet in a way is a little bit easier to manage. Here, let's break it down. I mean, I got time. So here are my 3 volt per octaves for my chainsaw. All right. So we could do this a couple of different ways. You could do this with just the standard quantizer, and then harmony functions and stuff. Ooh, you know what would be kind of cool is to try to control the harmony function with a melodizer. That would be fun. You got to admit, that would be fun. We could keep all of this stuff the same. I'm going to throw this into the supercritical neutron flux filter. You know why? Because the name is cooler. Actually, the name is not necessarily cooler than the Zagreb, because the Zagreb has hard Simpsons connotations. Oh shit, I was just thinking of that episode, and in the car he's trying to drive has a fly as its hood ornament, and it's just the greatest. Okay, we need to crank the gain up to the chainsaw. It's a little bit weird. This isn't this. So right now, obviously we're all just getting, one channel. So like then where do you want the triggers to come from, right? You have a multitude of choices on this, right? So the way this works, you could set it up again as just a quantizer, which means you're going to have to feed it. Let's try it, actually. I kind of wanted to try this. No, wait, we kind of need that. That gives us our rhythm. I'm going to do this with a sloths. All right? Right? Here's why, or here's how, or no. Here, watch it happen. It'll be entertaining. So, we're going to take a fast? Should we do a slow sloths? Fast sloths. I don't know. We can try both. I'm just gonna throw them. Do I have enough room in the junction, or should I stick it into the CV distributor? Well, I'll tell you this much: we're not going to use a yellow cable. Immediately run out of cables. So I think for now, yeah, let's stick it in the purple channel here, and I'll use the slower one for now. All right, and you can actually get away with a tiny ass little cable here. All right, so then this is going to be a standard quantizer kind of thing. All right, now here's the thing, right? I don't know if I necessarily want one of these guys to play a C. No, I kind of do. So basically, you just sort of want like a C minor scale, although I'm leaving out D. All right. And then, of course, the more we sort of turn down the distributor here, the more it's going to just sort of drift in place gently. Gently drifting in place. Yes, indeed. So channel 2 gets another one, very similar. And then obviously channel 3, same thing. This is honestly one of the primary reasons that I got the Zorks strip here. It was for sloth distribution. And it works quite well, I must say. All right, now what do we got going down? Let's find out. We got nothing. No, just kidding. It's way too low for one thing. Yeah, of course we can slow the clock way down too, which would be a good idea. No, quit it. Quit it. Why did you stop? Okay. Now I'm going to turn the octave up, I think, on this whole thing. Still pretty high octave there, ain't it? So right now, of course, it's just kind of meandering around, and you're going to have to sort of, you know, find how to sort of constrain each voice. You know, honestly, like, one of the things I think would be a good idea to do right away is to directly put that sloths through an attenuator. And let's use the faster one, too. Bit more limited. Okay. Yeah, the Y output gives you a higher voltage range on the triple sloths. So, like, right now you can hear they're all barely meandering around, right? And that's mostly because I've, like, detuned this thing quite a bit here, or constrained it, attenuated it. But this happens with a sloth, right? If you think of the voltage range, it kind of like just like goes into places, and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna hang out here and then wiggle for a while. It's not an LFO, right? Could try it with an LFO. It's really easy, like that. And everything's gonna kind of stay near each other. And then like, well, maybe that with, you know, FM, rhythm. But see, it's not quite as harmonizy, right? And that's the problem with using an LFO for this. I'll be, you know, be completely honest. Okay, so here's the alternate method, right? What I need are multiple triggers. Okay. And we can take triggers from a bunch of different places. Okay. So we don't need all of this apparatus at all of this junk. So this would sort of be the alternate method of this. Alright. Let's keep the purple cables though, because that kind of denotes what I'm doing here. Alright. In fact, we don't need sloths either. Alright. So then, what I could do is use each channel of the barred quartet as an arpeggiator. Alright. So we go into the arpeggiator menu. Alright. And we go like 2 octaves. This is like up or down, or like different types here. So then we can put it like so. And like so. And then same settings. Alright. Now, what it's looking for are triggers, right? So I could take the regular trigger from, and then each one of these is going to be a 16th note away. So if I put this into 1, 2, and 3, right? Okay. But each of these harmonies here is could also set these on like random and stuff and do some different things. So then let's say for this one, we stick this on an F. An F, like add 4, right? Now, the only thing I have an issue with right now is if you notice, notes are changing at slightly different times than the envelope is triggering. Which means you get these little blue, blue, blue as it like goes to the next note. To me, that's not completely 100% like appetizing. You know? You can even hear it more in the quick. These little blip, 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 right? So it's like a little bit of a lag time in. And the wild thing about that to me is that it's all coming from the same trigger source. So something in the lag time between the envelope or the barred quartet, one of the two. If we didn't, here's what you get with no envelope at all. So then in, like, let's say harmony number 3, then we do the same kind of thing. Alright, and we'll get them all triggering together and all happy and stuff. There, how about like an E flat major 7? Number 4, we'll do the same thing. Setup is a little bit tedious. Okay. Hey, Jason. Alright, so now... Okay, now here's the weirdness. This is going to be interesting. Alright. Now, here's what I don't know, alright? What I don't know is how the barred quartet is going to respond to sending it a volt per octave signal from the melodizer. Alright, so far so good. It's at 0. Alright, so now what happens if I also give it a D? Nothing. How about an E? No? What a G. Ah, yes. It just went to the second chord. That solves the blurring note problem. Hey, Surrealist. So, I am stochastically controlling... Oh, shit. Oh, I just thought of something awesome. I'm gonna stick a sloths into the high note CV input, alright? Which means it's basically just gonna, like... Sloths is controlling the melodizer, which is also going to be controlling the harmonies on the barred quartet. So dumb! I love it. Okay, so all I have turned up on the melodizer is C all the way and G about halfway. Okay. Which, I mean, like, if you're like voltage terms, that should be like, you know, if it starts at 1, then it's giving you 1.5 So then if I here, let's pull the sloths. All right, now I'm gonna turn up the high note on the melodizer here and see what happens. It may have to go up pretty high to get to the next note. And we can turn this up to like half note also. Speed up this whole process. Oh, see, now we're out of range up there. Maybe I have to add more notes because I notice it's not hitting like the A flat chord. Oh, it just did. Now, if you wanted to do the bass end of this, you could. All right, you could do it all with a fourth channel, the fourth channel of the Bard, and just put the root in for for the trigger. And then you've got triggering options, like you could trigger it with a whole note. Okay, let's rig it up. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'm gonna tear out all of the green here. Wait, not all of the green. Only the bass note green. What is this? This is bass note. Okay. And then the trigger, that's right, was just coming from a clock signal. Okay. This won't take too terribly long. He says. Who do we want to play the bass? How about like, let's go like ensemble oscillator through, the popple? Sure, why not? Let's do that. Okay. And then volt per octave is going to come from some long cable that I don't possess right now. Let's tear this whole circuit down. That's right, we're not even using this filter, so go away. Okay. Let's declutter a little bit. All right. All right. Where did I have the bass? Because it's new bass. Hi, new bass. There's a lot of effects on that channel. You know what bass would like? Bass would enjoy some chorus. The question is, can I remember? No, I can't. I know where it is in the FX8, so we'll just use the FX8 stereo chorus. Protect against exploding. it's okay. Okay, now what we need to do is, of course, give it a full per octave from the Bard. We can't. Not with that cable. Alright. Alright, so then channel 4 of this whole thing here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it into arpeggiator mode. And we're not going to put the octave down to anything. I'm just going to put a C here. And then in channel 2, let's pull the volt per octave though, just in case. The channel 2, F, only F. Okay, hang on, wait, what is it? It's C, F, E flat, and A flat. C, F, A flat, okay. A flat, C, F, E flat, A flat. There. So now that guy should run kind of independently as long as you give it a trigger of some sort. Which could come from, I don't know where. Like, I don't know where right now. What kind of a rhythm do we want to give it? We could do one. We could do no rhythm. We could just do like a whole note. Just how about this? We're going to trigger the note movement on that with the melodizer. So let's also trigger the generation of the bass notes. Which only makes sense. Alright. And there we go. Wanted this to share in the party with the chords, right? We could just split off the envelope from here. Interesting, right? There's really no synchronization between chord changes and bass note changes. Okay. Well, no, there is, because we're changing harmonies right here. Honestly, you know what I want on this thing? I just want a frickin' just a 16th notes. the other way to trigger bass notes on this would be to, let's say, use the dot sequencer and trigger it on half notes. Oh, that's better. Oh, the almighty A flat. Now, if we just put this on half notes for the melodicer. Too high, it just hit a random C. So, yeah. Polyphony. I mean, honestly, all this stuff. There's a lot of polyphony stuff coming out, you know. That whole tip-top octopus standard and stuff like that. It's exciting, but Jesus God, man, a chainsaw, $200, like 21 note polyphonic or 21 voice, right? Like it's crazy. Consider it 3-note polyphonic because it has 3-volt per octave inputs, right? But man, there's a lot you can do with that. Just depending on your control source. You know, a couple of LFOs and a couple of quantizer channels can do pretty amazing things. Depending on what else you got. You know, attenuators and stuff like that. So, anywho's. I think I'm out of here. So, it's been a hoot. Probably Friday will be the next time. So, stay tuned, kids. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching.